New details now on bombshell allegations against famed civil rights leader Cesar Chavez.
A New York Times investigation published just this morning accuses the labor icon of a pattern of sexual abuse targeting women and minors over decades. The victims only came forward recently, accusing Chavez of raping them, some as young as 12 years old at the time. The organization Chavez co-founded, the United Farm Workers, has called the accusations shocking and indefensible. They have canceled Cesar Chavez Day activities this month. Chavez died in 1993 at the age of 66.
He's a sinner, like a lot of us are sinners. What we need to look at is basically at what he did as a labor leader and as a person who really cared for farm workers more than anything.
The Times says that one of the victims is famed labor leader and activist Dolores Huerta, who is 96 now. Huerta and Chavez co-founded the National Farm Workers Association, which later became the UFW. Huerta broke her silence to the Times, releasing a statement so compelling we will read it in its entirety.
It says, quote, "I'm nearly 96 years old and for the last 60 years have kept a secret because I believe that exposing the truth would hurt the farm worker movement I've spent my entire life fighting for. I have encouraged people to always use their voice following the New York Times multi-year investigation into sexual misconduct by Cesar Chavez. I can no longer stay silent and must share my own experiences. As a young mother in the 1960s, I experienced two separate sexual encounters with Cesar. The first time, I was manipulated and pressured into having sex with him, and I didn't feel I could say no because he was someone that I admired, my boss, and the leader of the movement I'd already devoted years of my life to. The second time, I was forced against my will and in an environment where I felt trapped. I'd experienced abuse and sexual violence before, and I convinced myself these were incidents that I had to endure alone and in secret. Both sexual encounters with Cesar led to pregnancies. I chose to keep my pregnancy secret, and after the children were born, I arranged for them to be raised by other families that could give them stable lives. Over the years, I've been fortunate to develop a deep relationship with these children who are now close to my other children, their siblings. But even then, no one knew the full truth about how they were conceived until just a few weeks ago. I carried the secret for as long as I did because building the movement and securing farm workers' rights was my life's work. The formation of a union was the only vehicle to accomplish and secure those rights, and I wasn't going to let Cesar or anyone else get in the way. I channeled everything I had into advocating on behalf of millions of farm workers and others who were suffering and deserved equal rights. I've never identified myself as a victim, but I now understand that I am a survivor of violence, of sexual abuse, of domineering men who saw me and other women as property or things to control. I'm telling my story because the New York Times has indicated that I was not the only one. There were others. Women are coming forward, sharing that they were sexually abused and assaulted by Cesar when they were girls and teenagers. The knowledge that he hurt young girls sickens me. My heart aches for everyone who suffered alone and in silence for years. There are no words strong enough to condemn the deplorable actions that he did. Cesar's actions do not reflect the values of our community and our movement. The farm worker movement has always been bigger and far more important than any one individual. Cesar's actions do not diminish the permanent improvements achieved for farm workers with the help of thousands of people. We must continue to engage and support our community, which needs advocacy and activism now more than ever. I will continue my commitments to workers as well as my commitment to women's rights to make sure we have a voice and that our communities are treated with dignity and given the equity that they have so long been denied. I've kept this secret long enough. My silence ends here, end quote.
And the fallout from these allegations is only just beginning.